If you've ever felt uncomfortable when your birthday comes around, you're not alone. Some people count down to it. They plan dinners, they post pictures, they expect messages at midnight. And then there are people who quietly hope the day passes without much attention. They don't want to party, they don't want to be sung to, they might even tell people not to make a big deal out of it. If someone surprises them, they smile politely, but something inside tightens. It doesn't look like a big deal, but it says more than you think, because not celebrating your birthday is rarely about just not caring. It's often about how comfortable you feel being seen. On the surface, it can look like low-maintenance energy. I'm just not into celebrations. It's just another day. I don't like the spotlight. And sometimes that's true. But for many people, the discomfort isn't about the cake or the candles. It's about attention. Birthdays are strange psychologically. For one day, you are the center. People focus on you. They express appreciation. They highlight your existence. If you grew up feeling invisible, that attention can feel unfamiliar, almost suspicious. And if you grew up feeling criticized, that attention can feel unsafe. Because when you're not used to being celebrated, being looked at closely doesn't feel warm, it feels exposing. Some people who avoid birthday celebrations also struggle with compliments. When someone says something kind, they deflect, they joke, they minimize. Stop, it's nothing, you're exaggerating. It's not that they don't want appreciation, it's that appreciation doesn't match the identity they quietly built about themselves. And identity is powerful. If, as a child, love felt conditional, based on performance, behavior, or being good, you may have learned that attention comes with expectations. When people look at you, something is required. So now, as an adult, a birthday feels like a spotlight with invisible pressure attached. You have to react correctly. You have to seem grateful enough. You have to live up to whatever people are celebrating. That's exhausting. For others, birthdays feel uncomfortable because they highlight self-worth. A birthday is a day that says simply, "You matter because you exist." And for someone who tied their worth to usefulness, achievement, or being the responsible one, that message can feel confusing. Existing doesn't feel like enough. There's also the issue of vulnerability. Letting people celebrate you requires receiving, and receiving can feel more vulnerable than giving. Many people who avoid birthdays are comfortable doing things for others. They'll plan your party, they'll remember your date, they'll go out of their way. But when the roles reverse, they shrink. Because receiving attention means dropping control. And here's where it gets interesting. It's not always about low confidence. Sometimes it's about control. When you downplay your birthday, you control expectations. You control how much people see. You control the emotional intensity of the day. If you don't expect much, you can't be disappointed. That part is subtle but important. For some, childhood birthdays were inconsistent. Maybe people forgot. Maybe promises weren't kept. Maybe celebrations came with tension, conflict, or emotional unpredictability. So the brain learns something protective. Don't attach meaning to this day. If you act like it doesn't matter, it can't hurt. That's not indifference. That's protection. There's also another layer. The relationship to aging and time. For people who grew up too fast, birthdays don't feel lighthearted. They feel heavy. Another year older can unconsciously connect to responsibility, pressure, or the feeling of time slipping away, especially if you've always been the mature one. Instead of excitement, the day triggers quiet reflection. Have I done enough? Am I where I'm supposed to be? So rather than celebrating, the person withdraws, because introspection feels safer than celebration. Some people avoid birthdays because they don't like being emotionally visible. When people gather around you, sing to you, post about you, your emotional world becomes public. And if you've spent years being self-contained, that level of exposure can feel overwhelming. It's easier to stay neutral. It's easier to stay small. And sometimes not celebrating is connected to a deeper belief. I don't want to inconvenience anyone. If you were the child who didn't want to cause trouble, who tried to be easy, who handled things quietly, you may have internalized the idea that taking up space is risky. A birthday is literally a day designed for you to take up space. So the discomfort makes sense. You learn to survive by minimizing yourself. Again, that's not weakness. It's adaptation. And here's another unexpected layer. Some people don't celebrate their birthdays because they fear disappointment more than they desire joy. Hope is vulnerable. Looking forward to something means allowing the possibility that it might not happen the way you imagined. So the safest emotional position becomes detachment. It's just another day. But underneath that neutrality, there can be a younger part that once wanted something more. What's interesting is that many people who downplay their birthdays are deeply thoughtful about others. They remember details, they care quietly. Their discomfort isn't about not valuing connection. It's about not fully believing they deserve the same intensity of care. And when you start seeing it this way, the behavior shifts from "they're just not festive" to something more layered. It's about visibility. It's about self-worth. It's about safety. Not celebrating your birthday isn't random. It often connects to how you learn to relate to attention, love, and identity. For some, it's simply personality. For others, it's a pattern built slowly over years. A pattern of minimizing, a pattern of self-protection, a pattern of staying just slightly out of the spotlight. And once you notice that pattern, something changes. You start to see how it shows up in other areas too. In how you accept praise, in how you ask for things, in how much space you allow yourself to take. It was never just about the cake. It was about how comfortable you are being seen. And when you understand that, the day itself becomes less important than the awareness behind it, because awareness has a quiet way of shifting identity. It reminds you that patterns are learned, and what's learned can be understood. If this explains something for you, there's always more to uncover. Understanding yourself is rarely loud, but it changes everything in quiet ways.